Hello, hello. Welcome to episode 51 of the Lorethrough. We're going to continue with Ray Lucaria Academy. I'm sure some of you have exhaled a sigh of relief simply because I am not doing the entirety of Ray Lucaria in one elongated episode like I did Stormvale Castle. But here we are. So if you follow the wheel, this big old cranking wheel, very reminiscent of the lift in Blighttown, Dark Souls 1 fans remember. Or anyone who even played that game and got anywhere in it, really. You can ride partway down, and there's this mid-level you can get to, as well as a essentially ground level. But we come here, and there are bodies strewn about. Very odd. But we see there's some stuff to lock onto. There's these little marionettes, and they have wings and scythes. Ooh. And they do bleeds. And they spaz out. I can't believe I dodged all of that. Ooh. Good thing this thing has a swipe. Am I doing a flat 500 for uncharged heavy? That's kind of cool. Flat numbers are neat. Yeah, look at that. Alright. Grab Golden Rune. Grab the Avionet Soldier Ashes. I believe I've already gotten their helm beforehand for convenience. So we'll take a look at their helm and then their ashes. There it is, yeah. Metal helm formed in the likeness of the face of a bird. Worn by Avionet soldiers crafted to serve the sorcerers. The construction of this helm is remarkably crude. For a doll, the only thing that matters is that it does not break. So, form over function, or sorry, function over form, supposedly. Though that seems unlikely. The ashes. I knew I was forgetting something. Oh, we also got the marionette's ashes last time. God, I'm so bad at this. Spirits of the marionette soldiers created to serve a sorcerer. These marionettes are archers and equipped with a pair of bows. On the verge of falling apart, they are ill-disciplined and attack without warning. Seems interesting that they have ashes, indicating a spirit, given that they are puppets. That's spooky. I don't like that. Makes me wonder if they were souls repurposed from something else. Spirits of marionette soldiers with avian features that were created to serve a sorcerer. Equipped with long-hafted scythes, they also attack from the skies by lobbing fire pots. Can sometimes malfunction when damaged. So I think us smacking them is what leads them to have their little fit, where they spaz out and twitch and tumble and slice all over the place. Seems that's not intended. It was not a feature. At least to our knowledge. You can jump over there if you well choose. I missed it, so I'm going to get let down nicely here, I hope. Oh dear. And here we have one of the abductor versions. This is the one that Patches was talking about in the base of the place. Ooh. I ran out of stamina there, that's on me. Let me go. Smacking the inside does bonus damage. And we don't want to get caught in it right now. But this one does seem to use the grab attack quite often. You have to specifically get grabbed by it, and the grab has to kill you. Alright, Longtail Cat Talisman. We'll take a look at that, and I will not forget because I have an extra note on that one. Here we have the Smithing Stone. A level 5 Smithing Stone. And lots of Glintstone Fireflies. This seems to be the base of Ray Lucaria, kind of in the middle. Probably represented by this pit in the picture. Or at least this edge of it is. And there's lots of Glintstone. It's interesting that a lot of raw glintstone is purple, actually, when usually what we see on staffs is like a teal color. Even on the little glintstone staff we have here, this one for dum-dums like us. There's this lake of water, and it looks like a little sepulcher. A very nice door. Honestly, I don't know what this would lead, if this would lead to anything, or if it's just a little place to bury somebody important. The door seems very nice. I don't remember seeing this door on any other little structure like this. Maybe in the graveyard there was one. Couldn't tell you. But we'll grab that, and that's a Lost Ashes of War for us. Alright, let's take a look at the talisman we just got. A brooch depicting a Lacrima, the long-tailed cat. Grants immunity to falling damage, but does not prevent death from a high fall. Lacrima features in the Fables of Rhea Lucaria, in which she is described as a fairy cat who is fond of playing in the Great Bell Tower. That's cute, right? Little bell. Reminiscent of the Silver Cat ring from Dark Souls 3. That ring would let you fall further without dying. And it would let you fall farther before you took damage as well. It was a very good ring, very helpful. Especially since in those earlier Souls games, you fall off of anything, you take damage. This game's very generous with how far you can fall. However, this game is weird where there's a long distance you can fall and not die. And then there's a small distance after that where you take considerable damage. And after that short distance of considerable damage is just outright death. And of course, your stamina factors into that a little bit. If you have low stamina, I think you take damage easier. We will head up. And once I get to the top, I will read the old description for the long-tailed cat talisman, which will be neat. There's the moon hidden behind the Erd Tree, a nice starry sky, and a divine tower in the distance. Something else in the distance over there. I wonder what that is. And here's where we fight the Alabaster Lord. There's his little purple smoke. You come out here. Alright. There's an item over there. Don't worry. We will get it. I will not forget. And there's a nice spiral staircase. Or at least a curving staircase. Maybe it's not a full spiral. We'll get there. Okay. Let me look at the description for the item. Let's see. The cat talisman's old description reads, a brooch depicting a long-tailed cat, known to be the beloved pet of General Radon. This black cat was known to have enjoyed jumping down from great heights. It would leap from the great bell tower of Rhea Lucaria as a kitten, and once fully grown, from the great heavensward roots that twisted through the Erd Tree capital skies. Which is a neat little piece of flavor, kind of humanizing to Radon. That Radon likes animals, right? And we'll see more of that later. That Radon likes animals. But I think that's a neat old description. I'm kind of sad that they got rid of it. Maybe it was a little too preposterous to have a cat, a seemingly ordinary cat with a long tail, falling from such great heights. But I digress. What are we going to use now? Let's play with this a little bit. We deal with these sorcerers. Those sound cues are so very important. There we go. I actually kind of like this outfit with this sword. Huh. I like the Banished Knight's sword the way it looks. The thing just, like, crackle with ice again. The thing I say to the corpse. Oh, I should look at their bodies, see if they have the different crown. No, they still have the crown with the leather wrap. Maybe it's later we'll see a wizard that doesn't have the leather wrap, that he has the other glintstone crown. Here we have a Conspectus Scroll, which will be very nice for us, because it gives us access to Glintstone Comet Shard and Star Shower. Mostly Comet Shard. Comet Shard's pretty good. Pretty good mana to damage ratio. Glintstone Craftsman's Cookbook 5, which lets us make Magic Grease, Drawstring Magic Grease, Magic Bone Arrow, and Magic Bone Bolts, which I'm excited for, because as a pseudo-wizard who uses mostly strength, I am excited to start making Magic Greases. which means I need to figure out where to get crystal buds, but I will do that off screen, dear viewer, don't you worry. Smithing stone. And this is a little outer area we can come to. A broken bridge over there. And though we only see it briefly, there's a weird magical incantation going on in that upper building. It looks like it's on the roof of a gaping hole, like something broke through or broke out. Besides that and a few other things, Radio Lucaria Academy is incredibly tidy. Even Stormvale Castle didn't seem to be as well put together. This place is remarkably preserved for something that likely isolated itself due to the Shattering War. A Livinous Glintstone Crown. So this was the Glintstone Crown I was looking for on one of the sorcerers, but it looks like we get it ourselves. And it adds 3 points to intelligence at the cost of some HP. When the Glintstone Crowns bestowed upon Rea Lucaria scholars whose pursuits were deemed worthy. The lineage of the Olivinus Conspectus began with the sorcerer Lusat, and its adherents continue to study of meteors. Rather neat, I think. I like the idea that they have all these schools of magic, and that you kind of devote yourself to one, and then you're given a Glintstone Crown and possibly a Glintstone Staff. Like, they have a whole hierarchy here that I would love to learn more about, but it's intentionally vague. Oh wow, that is a huge staff. How did I not notice that earlier? And that looks like one of the Carrion staffs, actually. Kind of looks like the Carrion... I can't remember if it's the Glint Blade or Sword Sorcery one. It's one of the two. Still, that staff's huge. That's longer than a person. Does big staff equal big damage numbers, I wonder? And it looks like they have a host of staffs here without glintstones. That's a neat little touch. Don't see that all the times. We have bookshelves. Rather sparse bookshelves, honestly. There's piles of books, kind of comedically strewn about. Oh, I never noticed. At the tops of these pillars, there's a little Glintstone crown face. With yellow eyes. That's weird. It doesn't look like they bothered to put glintstone on the top of it. At least I can't tell if there is. Oh, you gotta look up in these games. So much detail. Chains, bird cages. Still has birds in them. Are these notable sorcerers and their respective staffs? I don't know. Their burial methods aren't really logged anywhere that I'm aware of. Oh, by the way, I had a viewer tell me this is a lectern. I was having a problem remembering what it was called in an earlier episode. Kind of cracks me up. Okay. I think for this fight, we will switch back. I still light roll, or medium roll. Good. That seemed a little bit like overkill, but I don't have any of these equipped. Ooh, the headshot. It's pretty hard. I need my weapon. What am I doing? You can parry that a little early. Which is kind of nice. I mean, you kind of need it. And they have in their service a huge pot who just decked me. Ooh, I just kind of sidestepped one of his attacks. There we go. Sorry, pot boy. What a horrible splatter to end up as. As you can see, the parry... The spell parry is a very good choice if you don't have ranged options for dealing with a room full of sorcerers. Doesn't cost that much mana, and it does great damage. It used to do obscene damage, but they've since fixed that. Gets hit in the back with the sorcery, still gets the crit. You can't stop me. Can't stop me or my style points. Oh, there we go. Okay, so this fellow also had the leather wrap. This is a Lazuli sorcerer. The painting of the man who's based off of that... Sorry, the mask is based off of the painting of a man, and the painting's also based off of a man. He was holding the carrion sword. So it seems that these Lazuli sorcerers, they have a little more physical battle arts mixed in with their scholarly pursuits, and they seem to align a little bit with Caria, a little more than other sorcerers, it seems. Now, these ones may not. Here we have a wall of masks, and it seems that they're just alternating between the three kinds, that we've seen so far. We've seen a fourth kind on that huge battle mage that was in the Crystal Cave. He was the one who did the big ol' artillery spell as well as the huge hammer spell. Over here we have, it looks like a painting of a woman with a banana hat and a very nice looking staff. And she's pointing off to the side. Well, we take advice and suggestions literally here, so. And that's how we find a secret, is by looking at paintings and noticing where they are pointing off to. Here we have a side study, probably for one very notable individual, possibly this person here. More pointing, more painting, more looting, and there's another one of these little statues here. It's hard to see in the dark. Not sure what those little statues represent, but let's open this up. Comment. Oh man, I want to cast more spells. But that's okay. We may neglect leveling up mine to show off more content, and so I will deal with the smaller magic pool. And a lot of people consider magic to be kind of cheating anyways. Alright, comment. Let's see. One of the Glintstone sorceries of the Academy of Raya Lucaria fires a great magical comet. This sorcery can be cast repeatedly and in motion, charging enhances potency. The greatest of the Carlos Conspectus sorceries that only a few sorcerers have ever mastered, and sure enough, it takes 52 intelligence to use. I think Comet Shard's a little more economical, but if you need to do big damage in a singular hit, that's not a bad choice. I know a lot of people in PvP will spam that thing, especially when they're not that great, and it's kind of easy to dodge. Though if it does hit, it's devastating. I'm not saying I've never been hit by it. I am saying, though, that it is reasonable to avoid it. If we hop down here, there's little pots. Inert. Waiting to bamboozle us. But we're here to do the bamboozling, so we're just going to deal with these swiftly. And I assume being surrounded by all these pots at once is a little troublesome. And here we get the Graven School Talisman. Raises the potency of sorceries. I think it raises it by like a measly. It's either 4 or 8%. It's not a whole lot. But it's something, right? A talisman depicting a school of Graven mages, the nightmare of the academy. Raises potency of sorceries. The primal current is a forbidden tradition of Glintstone sorcery. So it's kind of interesting that it's forbidden, but also a tradition. To those who cleave to its teachings, the act of collecting sorcerers to fashion them into the seeds of stars is but another path to scientific inquiry. Gross. So, to those who cleave to its teachings, so who embrace the forbidden tradition, the act of collecting sorcerers to fashion them into the seeds of the stars is but another path of scientific inquiry. And given that this actual charm looks to be made up of miniature versions of the Conspectus crowns, the Glintstone crowns, seems that you can harvest fellow sorcerers to amass power And naturally that's forbidden because it seems a bit rude. You should ask people before you harvest them. Always ask permission. But yet again, so kind of interesting that it's here at the base of this mound of Glintstone. It doesn't seem to be packed in a particular way. It seems like somebody was just trying to amass power as haphazardly as possible. Or as quickly as possible, and they didn't care to make it look nice. They're not stored in boxes. It's just a pile. It doesn't look to be growing. It seems to be a pile. Yeah. And this room was locked away, sealed behind a door, and we kind of had to sneak our way in here through one of the ventilation ducts. Over here we have another one of these half bowls that normally collect starlight in other places of the lands between. It also looks like it has the phases of the moon on it. It's hard to see at this angle, but if you look at the moon in there while I'm jumping here, there's these little orbs that look like to be the phases of the moon. I don't know how they carted this up here by any means. It honestly looks broader, not broader, but just about broader than the doorway. And getting up these stairs, oh my goodness. How did they do it? Must have had a crane. Or perhaps, I don't know, that's pretty far down still. This is up a couple levels even if the land hadn't fallen away in the lands between below. Alright, well, let's keep going. Drink one of my potions, because we are about to go in for a fight. And here we have the Red Wolf of Radigan. Good free damage. I don't know how he missed me. Whew. Hitless. Sheer damage output. I got lucky. He hurts me quite a bit normally. But he dropped a memory stone. It was a very nice red wolf. It, I'm an idiot. I showed off one in the back of Caria Manor, thankfully. And it casts sorceries, but also summons a red sword. I should have not killed it so fast. I'm glad I fought one before, because I feel like a Dimbus. That's also one encouragement not to over-level by any means, so I don't out-damage poor bosses. Don't do them too well. But we have a lot to look at in here. I don't even know if we'll advance to the next part in this episode. What do we have? Like 7 minutes? And I'm just shooting for that as a ballpark. But here we have the Lazuli Conspectus. Set of 2 dudes. And we have the, I think, Carlos? Or was it Olivinus? Olivinus, right? And there we have a lady who kind of looks like Selin, right? So we have the Lazuli, Olivinus, and Selin. We don't know who the twins are. We also don't know who Banana Hat Lady is just yet, but a lot of you have probably already guessed if you are unfamiliar, and we'll know in time. Very soon here. Possibly next episode. And we don't know, and we've heard of the Carlos Conspectus, which I think is supposed to be that fellow there in the middle, without the leather band on his hat. It seems kind of silly that they're repeating so much. You'd think that you would have one of each sorcerer on each side, and then the only duplication is the fact that they have a painting on each side of the room. That seems a little silly, but they wanted to fill the space, so what have you. Maybe it's a record. Maybe these are election years, and these are people who watched over the academy, and it's like, oh, first we elected that bozo, the Carlos Conspectus guy, then the Selin, then the Lazuli, then the twins, then Olivinus again, then Selin. I don't know. I'm just talking out of my face right now. Not doing a great job. Interesting architecture here, though. This is referred to as the debate parlor. And there's these very interesting designs here. It kind of looks like a compass of sorts. Minus any prongs. Like it's a part of some astrological instrument. astronomer's instrument, maybe, I should say. This one's a set of telescopes. It's a little better. It's purple cloth, though. I don't recognize its design anywhere else. Chandeliers, high voltage ceilings. I think we have time to do a little bit of the next area. Not too much, but some. Okay. Slap that on there. I don't even know what to use anymore. I like the pickaxes. I will use them, but... Alright. So, the Lazuli sorcerers that we've now seen, they carry this bad boy on them, and I almost forgot, right? It is a wooden sword with glintstone embedded in it. Purple glintstone, to be specific. It's a broad thing. Let's read its description. I've had it for a while, but I haven't been able to legitimately show it off until now. A sword with a glintstone in its handguards. Wielded by scholars of the Lazuli Conspectus who seek to master carry and sorcery. Deals magic damage. Apparently, once used as a staff of sorcery, this sword is made of wood. And sure enough, it comes with the glintstone pebble, which shoots a projectile, and you can choose to have the follow-up lunge. And if you combine it with the Carrion Knight sword, you have two weapons that have okay strength and int scaling. And you have a nice combo here. Now, if you get through a second playthrough, the Carrion Knight sword will be a bit better. So you can have two. You can also farm for the Lazuli sword. So if you want them to be matching, you do that. But it is a tad bit shorter, which is not so fun. But they both have the same heavy attack, where you guard first and follow up. Oh, that's the same weapon. There you go. And it does have a guard to it. The Carrion Knight sword's a little better, and I wonder if it gets better as it upgrades. They're pretty bad at blocking, so you're kind of opening yourself up to sadness. Because getting guard broken is a crit in PvP, especially to anyone who's on their toes enough to make use of that. You don't want your guard broken. It's bad stuff. Puts you at risk. There's some situations where the guard break isn't so bad. PvE is what I'm referring to. Especially if something does physical damage, but does huge physical damage, and you have a shield that has 100% physical damage negation. You could block the one huge slow hit and have your guard broken, but take no actual damage. I think that's how it works. I'll need to test that out. I've seen people do it. I have somebody I play with every once in a while who does that. They'll just block a hit they really shouldn't go for, but because the attacks are slow enough, they can recover in time. Which is kind of funny. So there we found some buds, and here we find Radigan Icon, which we fought the Wolf of Radigan. So let's look at the icon. This is a very good item. Shortened spellcasting time. A legendary talisman depicting the Elden Lord Radigan. So confirmed he wasn't just the second husband of Queen Marika. He was an Elden Lord himself, along with Lord Godfrey, though at different times. Shortens the casting time of sorceries and incantations. As the husband of Renala of Caria, the red-haired Radigan studies sorcery, and as the husband of Queen Marika, he studied incantations. Thus did the hero aspire to be complete. So he's one of those few individuals that wish to mix faith and intelligence in terms of, well, his scholarly pursuits. Okay. I had a little note here. The Red Wolf of Radigan seems to be a repurposed, unused asset from Dark Souls 3. Yeah. And, I thought I had more on the note. Though hard to see, the Red Wolf of Radigan also has several gold piercings on its ear, with blue and red glintstones inlaid. So... that's something to look into. If you're curious about the Red Wolf of Radigan, you can probably look up Radigan's Wolf and then Zully the Witch on YouTube. And they have a fantastic video you should definitely look into. See, there's the guard break. So this sorcerer, he's got two faces. So he must be reminiscent of the twins. And I'm using magic weapons. I should probably be using physical weapons against these fellers. I don't think I've used the axe much. It just unequipped instantly. That was rude. But yeah, Zully the Witch has great short form content for little trivia. They tend to dig into the models and hidden stuff within the game. And I'd highly recommend that channel. Very entertaining, very informative. Oh, the robes! The wizards are wearing robes! Let me finish looting up here really fast. We'll read a couple things and we'll probably cut the episode there. I don't have much in terms of thoughts. This is just this courtyard. This is just immediately outside the debate parlor. We went over the balcony over there and it looped around and popped us out up there. Ooh, those wizards have got some range. So many of you fellows. Let me go. I have item descriptions to read on other Academy Glintstone staff. And we'll deal with these fellows so I can just read in peace. All these nobles who wanted to be sorcerers but didn't have big enough brains to get it done. I'm starting to wonder, are there 3 different axe attack patterns for hand... God darn. A lot of stuttering. Hand-sized axes? Because I know there's the hatchets, and then these ones have the side-to-side because it's double-edged. I think there's an axe attack pattern for when it's bigger, like this axe, but only has 1 blade. Huh. Sad that axes got a good amount of attention in terms of animation set, and then they're just so bad in PvP. This one's okay. And the ripple axe is okay. I think the hatchets are moderately better, but that's besides the point. And over here on the balcony we find the Glintstone Wet Blade. Finally, a very vital piece for our build. Let's take a look at it. Glintstone Wet Blade with a cipher engraved, which is weird. Ciphers seem to be a sign of the 2 fingers. Can be used as a whetstone knife. When applying an affinity using physical or magic type Ashes of War, an additional affinity of magic or frost can be chosen. So before, while placing affinities or infusions on weapons, if it was physical or anything else, we could put physical on it because we already had the Iron Wet Blade. That's the wrong thing. Let me show off the Iron Wet Blade. There it is, the Iron Wet Blade. So that let us put heavy, keener quality on just about anything, right? And then if we wanted magic or frost, the Ash of War that we put on the weapon had to be magic or frost already. Now we can put a physical Ash of War on a weapon and get access to magic or frost, which means all these weapons here, right, all over the place, I don't have to pick heavy anymore. I can pick frost if I so choose and keep the Ash of War and not have to throw a specifically frost flavored one on there. And we wanted to read the descriptions of the wizard robes. So we will do that. And then we will call it there. Alright. Robe worn by Rey Lucaria scholars of sorcery. Those who dedicate themselves to the study of glintstones, formed from starry amber, receive this modest yet elegant deep navy garb after making their vows of virtue and austerity. But with extended life, one is apt to forget old vows. So it seems that they get extended life somehow in their pursuit of knowledge, which is interesting. And then the Lazuli robe, worn by scholars of the Lazuli Conspectus, singular among the greater Rey Lucaria Academy. These scholars who sought to master Kerrigan sorcery instead learned to see the moon as equal to the stars. This robe in the hue of the full moon signifies their heresy. And if we look at the shape of the robes themselves, so this is what the wizard robes look like normally, right? And the Lazuli is a recolor. Kind of a shame. If color wasn't such an important part of the world and the lore of Elden Ring, it would be really neat to have the option to recolor our own equipment. But I know people would recolor their armor to be a hot pink and other obscene stuff, right? And if you're going for roleplay aspect, the game has goofy enough aspects as it is. We also found the Juvenile Scholar robe in the back door of the Rey Lucaria Academy. We'll take a look at that. Robe worn by the young Academy scholars. We haven't seen anyone wearing this yet. The juveniles birthed anew by the amber egg of Queen Renala, the head of the Rey Lucaria Academy. Yet the rebirth is not without imperfections, and thus do they repeat the process, eventually becoming utterly dependent upon it. Rebirth is a sleep to them, and with each awakening, memory fades into oblivion. So those are little tidbits that we will capitalize next time. We'll specifically be going up those stairs over there for a solo area. So thank you for joining me today. We went a little long, but it was fun having you for episode 51, I remembered. See ya. Come back soon.